conversations with the winners of the Property Investors Awards 2024. With our first winner, Property Trader of the Year, Abrar Shah. Thank you so much for joining me today, Abra. It's really great to have you on and to talk more about the Property Investors Awards. Firstly, huge congratulations on your award. Really well deserved. I know we were just talking a little bit before we came on. You said that you didn't expect the award, so congratulations to you.
Thank you so much, Gabriella. It's lovely being here with you, and thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're very welcome. Before we get on to the awards themselves, it'll be really nice to hear from yourself, to hear about your property journey. So, how did your property journey first start?
Well, actually, I was living in Manchester at the time, and I'd graduated. I was working for British Telecom at the time on the graduate programs, and I was renting. Interestingly enough, the lady I was renting from was retired, and she was selling her flats in this block that I used to live in, and 1 to 2 flats a year, okay, to fund her lifestyle. Okay, and that was quite inspirational. And I spoke to her, and she had like 20 of these flats in that block, okay, amongst other properties elsewhere. So we got chatting. Her name was Diane. And after speaking to her, I realized that sort of the long-term wealth creation game is certainly in property. And it's an asset you can sort of feel, touch, see. And over the long term, it always tends to increase in value and gives a passive income as well. So anyone in pursuit of that sort of financial freedom, it's certainly one of the asset classes that one should consider in their portfolio. So then I said to her, I said, look, Diane, I'd rather buy this than rent it from you. And when I inquired, it was cheaper for me to actually get a mortgage on it than rent. So my monthly payments were actually cheaper. So we agreed a price, and to be honest with you, she got a good deal because I just paid asking price. I didn't really know much about negotiation at the time, and I just went to HSBC and said, look, I'd like to buy this flat. Ended up buying this flat, put a very small deposit down as a sort of first-time buyer, and that was my first property, and that's where it's kicked off. So then I got the feel. I thought, right, I can do this again. So then I went and bought another one in Manchester as well, which was a two-bed, this time with a buy-to-let as opposed to a residential. And then it sort of spiraled from there, really. I started to look into property, went to a couple of networking events, worked out that this is where I want to go. And then 3 years later, so this was back in 2004, in 2007, December, I thought, right, I'm going to take the plunge. And it was at the time, the sort of the official recession, if you recall. So it was quite a courageous move, if you want to call it that. But I think when is it Warren Buffett who once said that when you sort of smell blood on the floor, or somewhat along them lines, you should go and invest, and that's what I did. I just thought, right, what's the worst that could happen? I'm single. I've got 3 years of experience working in the corporate world as an IT project manager. I had the relevant qualifications, Prince 2 practitioner, so on and so forth. Worked in a bit of consultancy with management consultancy, Deloitte and Accenture. And I thought, I'm going to take a year out and I'm going to give this a go. And that's what I did. So I switched the flat I was living in to a let to buy, I think they called it, and or buy to let. And then I moved in with my parents. And I started off in my bedroom. That's how I started. So it's
Oh,
really an interesting story. I started off in my bedroom and I thought, right, okay, right. I had no money at all. Okay, apart from a couple of grand in savings. I had no external investment. Okay, and I had no sort of VC capital or loans or anything like that because I'd left a job. I didn't have an income. I couldn't really get much, and I had a couple of properties which were now rented out and weren't really producing a great deal of passive or positive cash flow that I could live on a monthly basis. Hence, moving back with my parents and really cutting my costs down. Um, and then I knocked up a website. Okay, and the first thing I did, I started to source properties. And that was through leafleting. I went onto Gumtree, put some Facebook ads out, that kind of thing. A bit of marketing. I didn't really know what I was doing, to be honest with you. Just like you do, and I was just learning as you go along. And I think most people don't really know. There's no sort of blueprint, as such. Um, and that's where it sort of spiraled off. And then I started to source for investors, and one thing led to another. I realized the sort of potential of property sort of as a very powerful wealth building tool. And my passion grew along with that. I educated myself, connected with sort of like-minded people, a couple of partners that I brought on later, who are now my partners, and we've been together for 17 years. We took some calculated risks along the way, which led to greater success. And really, it's became my passion. That's what sort of drives me today.
Wow, that's amazing. And also, can we do a shout out to Diane as well? Because that's amazing
Yeah.
how she kind of kickstarted your property journey, and amazing how you started in your bedroom as well. And now to go from your bedroom to what you have now, that's just amazing. I just want to ask you, when you just started in your bedroom, did you think that it would lead to all this with property?
Not at all, I never really had a vision as such that, I'm going to get to the seven figures in liquidity, where, we are probably one of the largest cash buying companies in the UK now. And I, I, st- I kept my head down. I was in the trenches. And as I said to you at the very beginning, I didn't really do a great deal of networking once I was kind of in the trenches. I was working in the business as opposed to on the business for a number of years, you know. And often, I mean, that's what you have to do. You have to really graft hard, And I've been in houses at, 6 o'clock in the morning, cleaning up houses, painting them, traveling, working 14, 15, 16-hour days. And that's how we really cut our cost to get to a point where we started to buy and sell properties ourselves. Because the initial journey was about sourcing properties. And in those days, I must confess, it was probably a bit easier than it is now because you had lenders who were lending at 85% buy to let. We had the likes of Mortgage Express, the Mortgage Works, Birmingham Midshires, who were doing what we call instant remortgages at the time. So investors didn't necessarily have to put deposits down. Okay, so what we did, we created a company where we were a one-stop solution for investors, whereby we source the property, we organise the mortgages for them as well, because we had an in-house mortgage company as well, which one of my partners became a mortgage broker. And we did a bit of bridging for them as well, which was same day in and out, so it wasn't like your money was held for weeks or months. We organise the solicitors, and if they want management, we do the management side of things as well, or we'd put them on to a good managing agent that we've had some experiences with. So that was the kind of initial journey. And then come 2009-10 time, a lot of the banks stopped these products. You may recall sort of in America, there was lots going on, which obviously has an impact on the UK. And the product stopped. Now, all of a sudden, we had to adapt. And, adaptability and being dynamic is ever so important in any kind of business. And we were thinking at the time, right now, all of these investors we've got, they can't really buy anymore. They don't really have the deposits. Far and few do. What do we do? And a lot of the buy-to-let type of lenders were knocking down their loan to values to 80%, 75%. They were taking less risk on. Unfortunately, their books were really overwhelmed, and we'd hit this recession. So at the time, we pivoted towards buying and selling ourselves. And we concentrated in the north of the country on the lower end stock at 50, 60, 70, 80,000 pounds. Okay. And we'd buy one and we'd sell it. We'd make small gains on it, 3 to 5,000 pounds, but we do volume. And that's how we moved the needle, so to speak, to a level where we started to go into the six figures. And we'd regularly started to buy the six figures properties. And then it just spiraled out from there. And I would describe ourselves not as an investor anymore. We're a serial trader now. We trade properties. We don't invest. Whereby somebody invests, they normally buy, they rent, they're looking for the passive income, the capital growth. I'm pretty much in and out within 4 to 6 months.
Wow, that's really, really great to hear about your business. That's called Buy Investment Property. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
by Investment Properties Limited. That's
Lovely.
right.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's really, really great. And am I correct in thinking that you guys are also a family-run business as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, my two partners are brothers. Okay, biological brothers, and we've known each other since kids. We kicked about, played football together, etc. Lived in the same street, um, and ever since, the business has expanded. They've got a couple of their family members who are looking after various sort of aspects of the business. I've got a team now where they're remotely based. I've got somebody in Blackpool, somebody in Louth, in Lincolnshire. I've got a South African. I'm looking to hire in Philippines at the moment. We've got a couple of staff in South Africa at the moment, and we're continually hiring and expanding the sales operation side of the business. Um, and we ventured out, to be honest with you, during that journey, we ventured out into other businesses. We had an EPC business for a short period. We had an online estate agency in between for a short period. We had the mortgage company in between, which we moved on. And then my partner also pivoted towards Forex. So we also have an institutional Forex arm to the business as well. Which is completely separate to property, but it's allowed us to diversify into other asset classes and other commodities to contribute to the overall revenue of the company.
That's really, really great. And to hear about sort of like your like biological brothers as well working in the business. I guess it's really nice working with family as well, because I suppose you can sort of bounce off each other's ideas and stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, family values like integrity, commitment, care, they're very much ingrained in every aspect and every decision that we take. So when we speak to customers, at the very forefront is that integrity, that honesty, that commitment, that care for the customer, which really, resonates with us and them. And every single property transaction is more than just numbers for us. It's like we're doing our very own. And that personal touch is really what sets us apart. It creates sort of a strong foundation for sort of long-term growth. And we're all sort of driven by the same goal. So we're aligned with that unique sense of sort of trust, unity, and sort of shared vision.
That's really, really great to hear. Yeah, as you said, with the integrity and the care, I think that just what really makes a business, doesn't it? Especially a family-run one, which I think is great. And you obviously, when since you started your business by investment property, has there been a particular sort of challenge when it's come to that? Like, what are some of the challenges with setting up your own business, and how do you overcome them as well?
I mean, property transactions, or even setting up your own business, it's
Yeah.
very much evolving. You rarely have anything without challenges, I guess. It's getting more so challenging now than it was a few years ago. There's so much more red tape now to deal with, and administration. I mean, some of the toughest deals that we dealt with, or the most complex transactions, we're sort of navigating through multiple layers of legal and financial hurdles, um, where you get numerous delays, unexpected complications, and then you're managing a relationship with a vendor who's trying to move out, trying to buy a new build. They're emigrating, they're relocating. There's various reasons they are selling, and it's trying to marry up the expectations of their move date, because essentially they come to you for certainty, for predictability, no headache, no hassle, and they want it done quickly. So it's very different to a traditional type of sale, the kind of business that we're in. Um, and the key to really overcoming those challenges is to be persistent, to adapt, and have a solid team that you can rely upon. So the right power team, as they call it, the right solicitors who can deliver results, the right surveyors who can get out there and get to the property quickly and give you the right advice, um, and understanding the process end to end and the standard operating procedures that to go along with that, and making sure that your staff are really on the ball when it comes to um, dotting the I's and crossing the T's. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's lots and lots of challenges we've had over the years, but we've managed to stay resilient, think out the box, adapt, be dynamic. And the beauty is when you're a small team, you can quite easily shift into a different gear at any point. So we can slow things down, we can speed things up as and when we please. And we can overcome challenges a lot quicker because the decision-making process is a lot more leaner compared to when I used to work in the corporate world, where you're jumping through lots of hoops and lots of meetings before you actually get to, some sort of conclusion.
Exactly. And I think it's like what you were saying earlier. There's no blueprint, I think, to success with property. It's all about learning your way along and sort of overcoming these challenges along the way. And it looks like you've done exactly just that. And I think that's probably why one of the reasons you won Property Trader of the Year. Firstly, I have to ask you, how does it feel since you've won the award?
I didn't expect it. I mean, winning the award was very much a humbling and an exciting moment for me and the team. It's really a recognition of the hard work, the dedication, the values that we uphold in our business, the sacrifices that we've taken over the last 17 years. And it's not been easy, There's lots of loneliness, when you're an entrepreneur. Um, at times it's very lonely. You don't know who to speak to. Um, so it's really tough. It's a reminder of really our efforts to continually deliver excellent service, create value for our clients, and it's great to be noticed. And I'd really highly recommend anyone to apply for the Property Investors Awards. I was someone who never expected it. I was very much in the trenches. I'm not out and about. I don't have any real social media or anything like that. But this has really helped me in gaining some recognition for the hard work and the efforts that we've done over the last sort of 17 years or so. And I really thank people like yourself and the Property Investors Awards team who've given me this opportunity to be here today.
Oh, you're very welcome. And it's great to hear as well to say that more people should apply to the awards because I think they're so, so great. And as you said, with the Property Investors Awards, there were so many winners on the night, so deserving of the awards. So I just think it's really, really great. And thank you so much, like, for coming on. And it's a really, really great platform to get recognition as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
you're very welcome. So I know we are at the start of 2025. So I was wondering, do you have any property projects planned for 2025 that you can tell us about, or is it too early to say?
No, absolutely. We tend to sort of plan towards the back end of 2024, and we had a board meeting actually just in December, and we are looking to expand and mainly joint venture with investors alike. So we're going to be releasing a joint venture program for people out there who are in different industries, who are looking to invest with us and co-invest in buying properties throughout the UK. We have a 17-year history. Our success rate, is above 95% on a trade. So we don't very often lose the trade. I call it trading because, whether it's property or cars or, shares or stocks, we're essentially trading property here. So that's one of the areas we're looking into. We're also looking into more collaborations with partners. We already have some collaborations with auction houses and estate agents, but we're looking to expand that base where there's reciprocal business both ways, where they can also offer us properties that we can buy in, and we can also offer them properties that don't fit our buy box, for instance. Because we're essentially a trader, there's a certain criteria that a trader works towards. Anything out of that criteria is still a deal, but not necessarily for a trader. It may well be a deal for an investor who's looking at it from a different lens in comparison to us. So yeah, we're continually expanding. We're hiring at the moment. We've just hired 2 new staff this month. We'll be hiring again in March. We've just upped our CRM system to a world-class CRM system. And we're implementing various procedures and processes to really scale the company now into probably the largest cash buyer in the UK.
That's really, really great to hear. And it just sounds like your business is just going from strength to strength, which is really, really great. And now, finally, I want to ask you for any aspiring property investors that are watching, what advice would you give to them, to anyone who wants to get started in property?
My advice would be the first step is the hardest step, but no matter how small that step is, just take action. I find that a lot of people get stuck in analysis paralysis, if you like. They're trying to learn everything. They become sort of course junkies almost. Um, while education is important, there's no substitute for real life experience. So start doing your research, learn the basics of property investment, and ultimately take action. Understand what your financial goals are, why you're doing what you're doing, and what your purpose is. With a long-term mindset, nothing's going to happen overnight. It's not an instant gratitude type of business. It's very much delayed gratitude with property and most businesses. Uh, don't be afraid of making mistakes because along that journey you will make mistakes, but you learn from your failures, not necessarily your successes. Um, and each setback, teaches you something quite valuable. Build a strong network of mentors, advisors, like-minded investors. And if there was five things in particular, just top of my mind, if I can give you five golden nuggets on this call, I would say not every discount is a deal. Just because a property is below market value doesn't mean it's a good investment. You need to factor in refurbishments, legal costs, market demand before committing. Two, the power of networking. Some of your best BMV deals, they don't hit the open market, the off-market deals. So building those relationships with agents, sources, other investors, doing JVs, can go a long way and open doors for hidden opportunities. Now, free financing, really can be complex. So funding BMV properties, there's not a great deal of lenders out there which will fund a trade, if you like, in the way that we do it, where we buy a house and we sell it within 4 to 6 months. There's bridges out there, but then you have to incorporate or price in the costs of how much it would cost you. So creative strategies like bridging or joint ventures are always welcome when you're looking at sort of the financing side of things. Due diligence, it's non-negotiable, and often people, this is where they make the mistake on the due diligence. They don't take into account some of the smaller costs sometimes. We're speculating to accumulate, so to speak. So, I mean, rushing into a deal without fully understanding the area, the demand, or the property's condition can really cost you in the long run. So always research, seek expert advice when needed, employ the services of a chartered surveyor. And finally, last but not least, which has really done me well over the years, is a strong team. It's just ever so important. From solicitors to builders, having the right team in place can make or break your investment. And a reliable team will just ensure the smoother transactions and higher quality outcomes. But yeah, it could be really rewarding. You make your money I always say you make your money when you buy the property, if you've done your due diligence properly. And when you sell it, if you hit over and beyond what your expectation is, that's just a bonus.
That's really, really great. And thank you as well for those five nuggets. I think those are really, really helpful for anyone that's wanting to get into property. So we're running out of time now, Abra, but thank you so much for coming on. Congratulations on your award. And for anyone that's watching, please, please consider applying to the Property Investors Awards. So thank you so much again, Abra. Really great to have you on.
Gabriella, thank you so much for having me today. You take care.